Hi everyone, we're going to be talking about standard and vertex form of a quadratic function. There are two forms that you need to know. The first one we're going to look at is vertex form, and that's this form right here, a times x minus h squared plus k. And what you need to know is that the vertex is hk. The vertex always goes right here and right here. When you have a parabola or a quadratic function, the vertex is either the max or the min. So if you are going to look at a parabola, you're either going to see it looking like that or it's going to look like that. This vertex has a maximum. This vertex has a minimum. The vertex is the point at the top or the bottom. And so what we're going to do first is I'm going to show you how you find the vertex on the calculator. So the first thing you'll do is you'll go to y equals, and you'll put in your equation right there at y1, and I'll show you some examples in a minute. But then it says graph the equation, so you press graph, and once it's there, it says second, trace, and then max or min. So you press second, the blue button, trace, and then you have to pick whichever one it is based on the graph. Once you pick that, then you're going to be moving your cursor to the left of the vertex and then the right of the vertex, and then you're going to press enter, and then you'll see the vertex. Now, when it shows you the vertex, what's going to happen is sometimes it won't round it correctly, but 2.999, you're going to round that to 3. If you see something like negative 1.7 e to the negative 10, or 2.78 e to the negative 8. This is going to stand for 0 because it means 1.7 with 10 zeros in front of it. If the number is positive, that's a really big number. Most of the time what you're going to see is the negatives in front of it. And as long as you see e and a negative number, then we're going to let that be 0, and you just round it that way. So just look for that e at the end. After you find the vertex, then you're going to plug in the vertex here and here. And then you change the sign of the x value. And then the a is the number that's in the front of the equation. So it's like 2, negative 1, 3, and so we'll look at all that. So let's put number 1 into the calculator. Alright, so I'm going to put in 2x squared plus 12x plus 17. I'm going to press graph. Alright, so we look at it and we decide, is it a minimum or a maximum? Well, it's a minimum. So I go to second, calc, minimum. Okay, it says left bound and right bound. Okay, here's the vertex. So this is the left side and this is the right side. So you're going to use these cursors here to move the cursor. Normally the cursor starts on the y-axis, so you think about where it is based on the y-axis. Well, this is really far from the left, so I'm going to press the left arrow. Normally you just press the left and the right. There's my cursor, so I'm going to move it to the left of the vertex, and then I'm going to press enter. Notice it says right bound, so I've moved my cursor to the right now, and then I press enter. And it can be anywhere on the right and anywhere on the left. You don't have to go real far. On guess, you just press enter one more time. And so there's the vertex. Negative 3, negative 1. So the vertex is negative 3, negative 1. Alright, so now we're going to write this in that equation. And you're going to put the negative 3 where the h is. You're going to put negative 1 where the k is. And then the number at the beginning is the a. So you're going to write f of x equals 2 parentheses x minus negative 3. So change the sign. And then the negative 1 is the k. And then that's the answer. That's vertex form. Okay, so let's do number 2. So we're going to put, we're going to go back to y equals. Clear off our equation and write the new. Alright, so we're going to put that equation in, 2x squared plus 12x plus 17. Press graph. That's a minimum because it looks like that. So I go to second, calc, minimum. Alright, my cursor is always on the y-axis, so I need to move it over here. You're going to use the left and the right arrow keys to find it. I'm moving left. Okay, I see my cursor, and then left is over on this side, right is on this side, so it says left bound. So I'm moving my cursor over here to the left, and it's the left of the vertex. Press enter. Now it says right, so I move my cursor over here to the right. Press enter. Guess. You can move it to the center, or you can just press enter. Either one will work. So my vertex is -3, -1. So after you get the vertex, you're going to plug it into this equation here. And the -3 goes there, the -1 goes there, and the number at the beginning goes at the A. And you get this equation. So 2 parentheses x minus -3, because it says that you always change the sign of the x value, squared, and then -1, because that's a -1. Okay, let's do number 2. So I'm going to put the equation into y1 again. -x squared plus 4x. Press graph. Alright, this one is a maximum. So I go to second, calc, maximum number 4. There's the left. So you press enter. And then there's the right. Press enter and guess. Remember, left and right has to do with left and right of the vertex. So 2, 4 is my vertex. Okay. And then I'm going to write the equation. So f of x equals negative goes there, because that's at the beginning, x minus 2 squared, and then 4 goes at the end, plus 4. Okay? Do another one. 3x squared plus 6x minus 2. Press graph. It's a minimum because it's going down this way. There's my vertex, so this is left and this is right. Second, calc, minimum. There's left. There's right. Press enter. Enter. Oh, I pressed enter too many times. I'm going to do it real quick one more time. There's left. There's right. Don't forget to press enter after it. And then enter on the guess. -1, -5. So f of x is 3, because that's at the beginning. X minus 1, but you change the sign, so plus 1 squared, and then minus 5. Alright, number 4. X squared. Oops. I'm going to start over. X squared plus 16x plus 71. Press graph. And we can't see it really well. We can zoom out if you want to, but I know it's right here, and that's the left and that's the right. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Second calc, and it's a minimum. And it might be hard to see, but I'm pressing left. And I know it's going to be pretty far because it's over here at like -9 and -10. Oh, there's my vertex, or my cursor. So just move it a little bit to the left, press enter, move it a little bit to the right, Press enter and enter one more time. We're going to round that to -8, so -8, 7. Alright, the number at the beginning, that's understood to be a 1, so you can put a 1 here or don't put anything. Change your sign, and then 7 at the end. Alright, last problem on the vertex form. Let me make sure I put that in right. Alright, I did. So it's very similar to the last one, how it's really weird over there. Second calc, still a minimum. And now I can't see it at all. You see that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press zoom and out. Number 3. And I'm going to move my cursor over here to where I want to zoom out on, so that I can see that a little bit better. Press enter. There we go. Now we can see it better. So when I go to second calc and minimum, I'll be able to see my cursor. Okay, so there's left. There's right. Enter again. -9 and 8. Alright. The number at the beginning is 2. Change your sign. And then the 8 on the end. Alright, so that's what you do when you do vertex form. You find the vertex, you plug it in, and then you put those numbers at the very beginning. Alright, standard form is going the other way. So it's starting with vertex form and going this way. So here's your directions. You multiply the squared term, and then you multiply by a if needed, which is the number at the beginning, and then you add or subtract at the end. So all the problems won't have all 3 of those steps, but some of them will. So on number 1, we're going to start. It says multiply the squared term. So I start with this x minus 3 squared. And when I multiply that, I write it in a box. You can use FOIL if you want to. I know that there's different ways that you can multiply. Out here to the side, you can do x minus 3, and do it this way, which is x squared minus 3x plus 9, or x squared minus 6x plus 9. You can do it like that, or you can do it like this, whichever way that you're familiar with. X and x is x squared. X and -3 makes -3x. You're multiplying. -3 and x, and then -3 and -3 is 9. You combine that middle term, and notice you get the same thing as over here. So whichever way makes more sense. Okay, so you square it, and it says multiply. Well, there's nothing in the front, so there's nothing to multiply. But then it says add or subtract, so I put a 5 on the end. And then I add 9 plus 5, which is 14. And then that's the answer. So basically, you're just simplifying that process. All right, number 2. So first thing I'm going to do is that x plus 1. I'm going to put it in the box. Remember, you can do it this way if you'd rather. X times x is x squared. X times 1 is 1x. 1 times x is 1x. And then 1 times 1 is 1. Combine that, so we have x squared plus 2x plus 1. 1x plus 1x is 2x. Alright, there's a 2 in front of that, so I bring it down, and then a minus 2. So my next step says multiply by the a. That means multiply by the 2. So I don't multiply by this 2 until I've squared it out. So I get 2x squared plus 4x plus 2. And then this minus 2 is just on the end. You don't multiply that by 2. Combine that, so you get 2x squared plus 4x. And then that's your answer. Last question. Again, if you would like to do the x plus 2 this way, you can, or you can do it in the box the way I do it. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 2 is 4. So you would get x squared plus 4x plus 4, because 2x plus 2x is 4x. Then there's a negative at the beginning and a plus 10. The negative just changes all the signs there. And then you combine that, negative x squared minus 4x plus 6. And then this is our final answer.